Uh-oh, scandal. What is up, all you peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Scandal this past weekend all across multiple esports, this one being the biggest scandal we've seen in Halo in quite some time. And as always, I'm curious what you guys think about this, as SSDs have now struck back, not just in Counter-Strike, but also in the Halo competitive scene. It was this past weekend at HCS London, a Halo major, where we found out that one player in particular for complexity, that being Spartan, well, he was disqualified and actually led to his entire team being disqualified. And at the first, all we had was a short little thing on broadcast. They came on and said, complexity is out of the event. And that's all we got.
We have results for you guys, so we can take a look at where all of our teams are sitting. Now, just a quick note, HCS has made a competitive ruling that resulted in a disqualification for complexity. So just to note that when you're looking at these pools.
And it wasn't until later, I was sitting in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, when the HCS released their statement. And a lot of people, rightfully so, started freaking out as they accused the Halo Pro Spartan of bringing his own SSD, that good old solid state drive, to the event to enhance his PC's performance. But I want to read their statement for you guys and what they posted that night, stating that during pool play at the HCS London Major, Complexity were on stage preparing for their match against FaZe Clan when during routine equipment checks, the administration was led to discover that Spartan's SSD was not the official tournament SSD. Upon further inspection, it was discovered the software on the SSD was not provided by the administration and furthermore contained new unapproved software as well as other changes to the existing software in an effort to increase the performance of the PC. No software of any other nature was discovered. When talked to, Spartan cooperated with the investigation. And so you read that, and classic nowadays brains, I'm with you guys. I sometimes don't read things in full, or if you read things in short based off headlines or certain words, a lot of people were left wondering, was he cheating? And yes, this is a form of cheating, but some people out there thinking he had malicious software or aimbot or actual cheats, which is not the case due to the kind of broad wording. So it wasn't the best look. And with Spartan's first response being a meme from SpongeBob, it was a really bad first look. This entire first 24 hours or more, a lot of people thought he was cheating, which yes, this is still a form of cheating, certainly a competitive advantage he was trying to gain unfairly by enhancing his PC that other competitors were not doing. So it is something scummy to do, and he himself admits that, but there was a lot of confusion, and with his initial response, people were very pissed. The fact that one player caused his entire team to be disqualified, I would safely say for the first couple of days, everyone was against Spartan. But it was then later where Halo did not issue a retraction of any sort or an update online, but they did have an update on their waypoint. To at least a little bit of the minor details of this post, where they correct themselves later and say, after further investigation, it was later discovered that the SSD device, it was actually part of a separate batch owned by the administration. The unapproved software was still loaded onto the SSD as described above with a flash drive. The ownership of the SSD was never weighed in the determination of the ruling. The admin team will be doing an audit of the existing fleet of hardware and removing any anomalous drives, big words, I love those, which are inconsistent with the rest of the other SSDs. In short, just saying that at first they accused him of bringing his own SSD to then plug in, but he actually used one of the issued admin SSDs to do all this. Regardless what he did, it was unfair competitively. Let's just get that straight. What he did was scummy. What he did was incredibly stupid. To not think you were going to be caught plugging in an SSD and reformatting certain files and whatnot to make your PC run better, and not to tell an admin, is very dumb to do. Hey, esports people, this is why we love the gaming space. Somehow in the same span of 6 days at 2 different esports events, we have scandals that involve solid state drives. If I had the chance to invest or like bet on something in the future, thanks to Thunderpick, our esports betting sponsor, 21 plus only, please always bet responsibly. I would have made so much money betting on the fact that we'd have 2 SSD videos in the same week. In the Counter-Strike scene, there was a CS pro who was then caught at IEM Dallas stealing other pro player solid state drives. At the same point he was doing this at 4 in the morning across the world in London, we had Spartan doing this. What are the odds, man? Oh, and he ultimately also got caught. By the way, two very different stories, but he got caught, and he's now been banned permanently, and he also had some past accusations, so much more harsh than the Spartan case. But a lot of people freaking out as well because this isn't cheating, right? It's certainly an unfair competitive advantage. And so there was a bit of a mixed response. And then we had his team finally issue their statement, and ultimately it was Complexity who have now dropped and cut the contract of Spartan, which I can't necessarily fully blame them for. And then they also issued a Bible of a statement going through each of the actual events that happened the night and the day before of what actually happened, which I'm not gonna lie, guys. After seeing that, I was like, I am not reading all of this. I really love your guys' thoroughness, but I am not, I can't bring myself to do it, you know? Hopefully in post-edit, we can think about something, we can still shot it or just quickly scroll through it. Yeah, I would say also kind of important is he never played any of this on an official match. He was actually caught in between matches and before the officials, so he never used this SSD during official matches, and it wasn't cheats. It wasn't cheating to that degree that we have seen other esports out there, which ultimately left a lot of people not really knowing how to feel. And ultimately, the HCS, that being the Halo competitive scene, well, they've now responded, and they have actually banned Spartan for the remainder of this competitive year, which technically means like a 6-month ban. He's going to miss next major. He's going to miss the events. Obviously, his team was disqualified from the prior major, and he will be missing Halo Worlds all because of this, to which a lot of pro players and a lot of responses that I've seen thought even then the punishment was a bit harsh. We had Snipe Down saying, not gonna lie, this Halo ruling on Spartan getting DQ'd for the rest of the year is extremely overblown in my opinion, especially based on a comparison for a ruling in the past. Am I missing something here? We had Sweet Dreams, Apex Pro, saying, considering he only slightly reformatted a tournament SSD and didn't bring anything of his own, not gonna lie, this is low-key insane. Then we had tons of responses from the common public out there. I think a lot of people that I saw called this a bit of overkill. Someone on the flip side of this that said it was maybe a fair punishment was Adam Apicella, saying altering the field of play is never acceptable. The objective playing field was set by the TO. There is no flexibility in this in my eyes. Outside of throwing matches, this is up there with the top line infractions in my opinion, and it opens Pandora's box. And then we have someone mentioning Royal 2. Okay, but Royal 2 got a 1 month. What a joke of an esport. Then Adam said, not even comparable in my opinion. Royal 2's punishment fit the crime. In my opinion, this situation was way worse and the precedent it created needed to be nuked. Again, my opinion is that altering tournament provided field of play equipment is up there with match throwing. Then we had ITB's coach saying, personally, I hope that your appeal is successful and the punishment is reduced. 3 months suspension from the time of the offense seems fair and would give you a shot at Salt Lake City to qualify for Halo World Championships. Shyway saying, just echoing the rest of the Halo community at this point, his actions were careless but not malicious and didn't impact the tournament. Full season ban is harsh. Hope Sparty at least has an opportunity to compete at Worlds. Trippy also supporting that. We had Lucid also supporting that. APG is going to be investigating this, and many other players that I would say for the majority would agree that the punishment was maybe too harsh for the crime. And it just leaves me questioning what you guys think about this, because I was like, I don't know, man. And for anyone wondering what the Royal 2 situation was, we dive back into like 2 years ago where Royal 2 was found to be actually forcing other teams on servers with higher ping. Now the details obviously go beyond that, but the similar line between these, the parallel, is that he too was going for an unfair competitive advantage, right? Whether it was placing himself on servers with better pings or, himself individually compared to forcing other teams on servers with worse ping, that's an unfair competitive advantage. Ultimately, he was banned for about a month and a half and also had some forfeitures in there. And so some people would say, okay, why does Spartan get a 6-month ban from multiple events and world champs, and Royal 2, it was a month and a half, and then he was good to go by the beginning of the next year? And to that point, I'm like, yeah, this does seem like a bit of an unfair discrepancy between these two offenses, which you can agree or disagree with. And then I also wanted to include Spartan himself. He had an 1.5-hour video, way too long, Spartan, all right? Just like Complexity's post, way too long. I appreciate the thoroughness, but it needs to be TLDR'd for us from me because I'm dumb. But I will show you guys a short segment of his video why he explained why he did it in the first place.
First thing I'm going to say is, one, I apologize to my teammates. Complexity. Yeah, I mean, it's my fault. We were DQ'd. Absolutely. 100%. I own that. When it comes to, I did break a rule. I think there was a lot of context missing, and I will provide you guys with all that context, but I want to preface that before I give you guys all that context, before I literally show you guys what I did from start to finish, that does not absolve me of breaking a rule. I completely acknowledge that. I get that. I broke a rule. I was careless. It was honestly just a brainless move. Had a really bad lapse of judgment. And I just wanted my game to work. That's it.
So the game not being optimized, his game not running properly, he says forced him to then want to make these changes. And then he also admits it was dumb to not tell an admin, which is really stupid. Like, ultimately, you should have told somebody, because then that obviously does not allow this to happen in the first place. And a piece of me in the back of my mind is like, Spartan, you're a smart guy. Was there a reason why you didn't tell an admin you were doing this? You were gaining an unfair advantage competitively, and albeit there has to be a punishment here. Even Spartan would agree with that. Do I think 6 months and multiple tournaments is the proper punishment for someone who wasn't outright cheating, but in the sense of a rule book was cheating? I simply don't know. So that was the big Halo scandal. Apparently these Halo pros, they like to gain their advantages, and we've seen our fair share of punishments over time. You also got to keep in mind that Spartan has certainly been one of the more outspoken Halo pros when it comes to negatively speaking, maybe not so much just about the game, but also HCS itself. He has never held back his opinions, and so if this is a TO or a group that maybe wants to show precedent and come down hard on the hammer with someone who has spoken out in the past, maybe that's the reason why. Ultimately, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Halo Pro Spartan has now been disqualified for the remainder of this competitive season, and we await to see what the next year of Halo will even look like. I love this game. I'm one of few people still playing it. Till next time, we hope you guys all enjoy. We'll see you back here tomorrow.